This presentation, titled Artificial Intelligence 101 and Auditing at a Glance, comes to us from Alka Jarvis. Alka has 30 years of experience in software engineering, including 19 spent in total quality management. Her background encompasses management of large-scale software systems, cloud, data science, customer experience, training, and international quality management standards. Cisco's first and only distinguished quality engineer, senior director, Alka continued her pursuit in the field of quality and became a Six Sigma black belt, as well as a certified auditor of quality management systems. In addition, she achieved the status of a fellow from the American Society of Quality, including a leadership Palo Alto Fellow Award, and was elected as the first female chair to represent the United States in the International Organization for Standardization for the development and maintenance of quality management standards. Over the years, she has mentored and directed hundreds of students in their careers and provided guidance in the field of quality. Currently, she's the chair for the UC Santa Cruz Extension Software Engineering Certificate Program, the chair for 9 years for the U.S. TAG to ISO TC 176, a member of the Chairman's Strategic Advisory Group for ISO Quality Management Systems, the chair for the U.S. Standards Group Council, and a member of ASQ's Learning Institute Advisory Board. And with that, take it away, Alka.
Thank you very much for the intro. Really appreciate it. And welcome, everybody. The artificial intelligence is such a common phenomenon these days that everybody is interested in it. And when I was trying to pick a topic, I thought it would be really great to just come up with something that is AI 101, and how do you really look at auditing from artificial intelligence? Because more and more companies are now going into the latest technologies, and we, the auditors, will have to really get ready for it. So with that, I'm going to go to my first slide. The technologies are really taking over, and you might just say that, hey, these are big companies who are following artificial intelligence, which is also called machine learning, Internet of Things, data science, digitization, circular economy, and cloud, telemetry, blockchain, and subscription-based services. But when you really look at it, the big companies have thousands and thousands of suppliers. And even smaller suppliers are now getting into these technologies, these services, and many of the economies are running with these technologies, IoT, Internet of Things. When we really look at it, look how connected everything is as far as your cars, and you can literally now have software sitting in your car. You can have your stove at home or your gas at home start, or you can have your heater start, or you can have your alarm system start or stop. Data science, we will cover that. Digitization is something that is also very, very critical, because everything right now that is manual is turning into digitization. The idea is, how can we do it faster and better? And those of you who are familiar with circular economy is we are really routing the plastic and making something else out of it, and we are taking the glass and making windows out of it. Cloud. Many people say that cloud is a technology, but I'll tell you, cloud is a service. And yes, there is software involved in it. And when you really look at many of these technologies, we've had them for a very, very long time. I remember in 60s, we were talking about remote computing. What was remote computing? Remote computing was really where you had no idea where your computing was being done. Where were the mainframes sitting? All you knew is that if you access the mainframe via your computer, then you'll be able to reach your data. That data was someplace else, and we used to call it remote computing. Now we are calling it cloud. Telemetry is also becoming more and more popular each day because we are thinking about how can we really help our customers and what kind of data can we gather from them. Surveys can just have so much information, but telemetry gives you real-time data. And for those of you who are not familiar with telemetry, telemetry is where you, the company, if you are into hardware, you will have some software embedded in that hardware. So when that hardware is shipped to a customer site, and even it could be a software, if you are shipping the software to a customer site, that software or that hardware or that machinery will capture some of the data that you are using and send it back to the company from where you bought it. The company can analyze which are some of the main critical functions that you use on day-to-day basis, where are the places where you're struggling, and then they can be proactive about it. A lot of companies are now relying on telemetry to give world-class support to their customers. Blockchain is another technology, and then subscription-based. Subscription-based is a term used for cloud, where the services are subscription-based. So in other words, instead of going to the store and buying something every single month, you have now subscribed those things, and for a year or 2 year subscription, you get that item mailed to you every time. The word subscription, we are very familiar to it because we have been subscribing magazines for years and years and years. But we have never subscribed services such as food being sent to you every 3 times or 4 times or every month, or such a subscription such as some protein powder being sent to you once a month or twice a month. So these are all the technologies plus more. As we speak, somebody in their garage is working on a new technology. And right now is a perfect time because of the coronavirus epidemic. Many people, many genius technologists are sitting in their home coming up the future technologies. The question remains, if everybody starts following this technology, or let's say even if 50% of the companies follow this technology, how do we do quality management systems auditing? And that's what we are going to be talking about in this particular presentation. So since I did say earlier that we are going to be talking about artificial intelligence, AI 101, let's start with that. What is AI 101? Artificial intelligence actually assists machines to learn from data, to learn from experience, to learn for all the inputs that a human being might have put in it, and it will learn from that data. It will create some models, and those models are typically done with a language which is called natural language, which the computer understands. As we go forward, we will talk about it further. And AI really looks at everything that is out over there and then gives you some solid idea as to how to deal with that. For example, IBM's Watson. There's thousands and thousands of gigabytes of data that is fed to Watson, based on which there were some models. And based on these models, it can now do a lot of different things that a human being will take a very long time to do. So why are we using artificial intelligence? it goes back to the last sentence that I just said. It increases the productivity. There are some repetitious jobs. They're so boring that a human being will get tired of it. But a computer will crunch out the numbers over and over and over again. And not only that, the numbers and the reports that comes out of the computer, there is a huge consistency. If two human beings were to do the same thing over and over and over again, there is 100% chance that that consistency will differ because the person might be really stressed out that day, or the person might be in a hurry, has to go home at a certain time, or the person had an argument with a colleague, or the boss said something. And it all affects the human brain, which then translates it into work. It would then affect the reliability of whatever they are doing. Wireless computers does not have that problem. So more and more companies are going towards AI because of productivity. They know they can save a lot of hiring a lot of human beings, and consistency, reliability, and much more. We talked about productivity, we talked about reliability, we talked about consistency, and we also said that it eliminates chances of human errors. Now remember what Deming had said. Deming had said that no one gets up in the morning and says, hey, I'm going to make a mistake today. And yet that individual ends up making a mistake. And he said, it's not the person who makes the mistake, it's the process that makes the mistake. In other words, what process did the person follow? So if human beings are involved and if they are looking at processes, inevitably there would be some mistake. But if a computer is used, if a machine is used, that error is completely eliminated. And that's the biggest advantage. So we did say that AI is used for data processing. We are all hearing about big data over and over again. What is big data? Big data is collection of data from every which way, and then interpretation of that data into meaningful action items, so that then looking at those action items, you can actually implement new processes. This can be used for continuous improvement. This can be used for improving your customer satisfaction, customer experience, customer expectations, and many more. Let me give you an example of big data. The data from Department of Motor Vehicles, from road services, from police departments is all collected in this big, huge central lab type, right? And then, and we'll call that central lab as a big data database. Now, companies like Federal Express, for example, they can access that data, they can access that data and use it to their advantage. You and I know that at any one given time, the Federal Express trucks are moving around all over United States. And I'm just giving you example of United States, but there are Federal Express trucks and automobiles moving around in Europe, as well as in Africa, India, China, you name it. And what they do is they depend on this big data analysis and to route their trucks and they know where there is road construction, they know where there is an accident, um, and they know where there is some police activity happening on the roadway, which might delay them from taking the package to its destination on time. So they take advantage of the big data to reroute their trucks so the trucks can make the delivery on time. Not only that, they also use this big data to say, okay, if there is an accident or a roadblock or some construction happening in such and such a road, then how do we reroute our trucks so that we do not spend a huge amount of gasoline and yet be able to deliver the package on time? So all of these are business related benefits that happens when you're taking big data. And how do we come up with the analysis of it? It is through AI technology, where computers can process large quantities of data in very short time and then give some guidance. So how can it do that? It is through use of algorithms to create the data models and the trends and predictive insights. Algorithms, if you were to really look at algorithms, it is literally a software written algorithm. It could be mathematical model with powered by software technology, which creates this model, which creates these trends, which creates these predictive insights. And what the predictive insights does is gives you leading indicators as well as lagging indicators. So what are leading indicators? We talked about telemetry before, and with the use of telemetry, when the data is coming in, the company can actually look at it and predict a failure at a customer site. And if they can predict a failure at a customer site, they can immediately call the customer and warn them about that failure, which may happen maybe in 2 days or 1 day or 1 hour or whatever the case may be, and then immediately send a fix to the customer. And just imagine how much you already improved your relationship with the customer and the customer's experience by telling them, hey, you're about to encounter a problem, and here is a fix we are sending to you so that you won't experience any downtime and you will not experience any business failures. Lagging indicator is where you already released the product and the customer encounters a problem. Now, with the use of the models through algorithms and through artificial intelligence, you will be able to prevent the lagging indicators. And thereby, you'll have a competitive edge as far as your competition is concerned. And not only that, you have a repeat customers. So keep in mind, we are talking about algorithms because at the end, when we talk about how do we audit, we have to really take into consideration some of these technologies that we are learning right now. Robots. We all have heard about robots. Robots work on assembly lines, and in many cases these days, they are assisting doctors in operating rooms, in surgical procedures. Robots are also in many warehouses, keeping inventory of parts and components. Now think about it, how laborious job that would be if you are running a warehouse which really supports General Motors. Just imagine how huge that warehouse with all those components would be. And how do you keep up with the inventory? It's the robots. How does the robots work? Because of artificial intelligence, they are taught how to count, how to keep track of the inventory, all of this. This is all through the algorithms that are written, which are actually in robots who work as human beings. There are so many robots that are also involved in house cleaning chores, vacuuming the floors, wiping the floors of homes. And they have also, in medical industry, they've also looked at patients with Alzheimer's. And they've said that these patients live longer if they are paired with a robot, which helps them in loneliness and isolation. And how do robots help? They actually talk like human beings. In the morning, when the patient wakes up, the robot will say, "Hello, how are you?" There would be certain algorithms, certain voice recognitions in those robots that they will be able to recognize many of the commands. With AI, military robots can now better detect snipers. They can also neutralize explosives and disarm bombs, fire weapons, without any actual danger to the loss of human beings. And just imagine if the algorithm was incorrect in that robot, and instead of detecting a sniper, they just turn around and start shooting at their own army. What happens? So that tells you how important these algorithms are and how important auditing AI is. How do we do that? We'll talk about it at the end. Automobile industry, we are all very familiar about AI and robotics that's been used to manufacture some of our latest and greatest smarter vehicles. And many automobiles now, you don't even have to worry about it. You just put it in auto drive and it just drives you to the destination because you've already input all the address and everything, and it relies on its intelligence to take you where it's supposed to. BMW has also used robots. I'm giving you an example of just one company, BMW, but this is the case with General Motors, this is the case with Mercedes, this is the case with just about every motor vehicle company that has used robots to help in tedious jobs. Example, sealant on car doors for keeping sound and water out. So one small error in the intelligence in that robot, imagine what it would do. Instead of applying the sealant to the car doors to keep the sound and water out, it may just put the sealant on the brandly polished car and beautiful color, and all of a sudden the sealant is put on it just because of that one error. So very critical as to how artificial intelligence is tested. Drones are another thing, in home deliveries. In today's day and age, because of this coronavirus, home deliveries are becoming very popular. And drones are used and equipped with technology using AI and machine learning to act like humans to deliver blood from a blood bank to another blood bank that might be needing it. Drones are also used for very sick patients who cannot travel to deliver the medications from the pharmacy to a remote, very, very sick patient. Just imagine if there was an error and that instead of the drone delivering the medication to a sick patient, it goes and delivers the medication to some other household. What a havoc that would create. Drones can also work in a very stressful environments, 24 hours a day, all year long, no lunch breaks, no sick days, no paid vacations, and it will keep on working. Even in construction industry, we are saying that now they are really relying on artificial intelligence in drones to map building sites, which really ultimately reduces jobs for mapping technicians, architects, cartographers, and many other technicians. And not only that, construction industry is also using drones to go and map out lands that is available and then going to the county to see who that land belongs to and see if that land can be cultivated for civilization. If they were to drive and discover this land, it will take them forever. And we talked about home delivery. Microsoft research team has stated that by end of 2020, self-driving cars will be used to spread the takeout of food, prescription medication, and thereby it will eliminate the service delivery vehicles and many of the drivers who are doing that job, their job would be eliminated. But once again, it all depends on the quality of the artificial intelligence that is embedded in these drones because they have to be 100% foolproof. For those of us who are really into cosmetics, even the world of cosmetics is now very engaged in computer-aided, computer-generated makeup technology. They're coming up with perfect matching foundation, with perfect pigmentation, with the use of 3D makeup software and artificial intelligence. They're also coming up with custom lipsticks on press-on mold that is the exact shape of a human being. So all you do is just take the press and mold, and each time your lipstick will be precise. And in the future, there are some companies that have already started working on this, that you will be able to create your own personalized perfume scents. And if you are vegan, you might be able to have vegan ingredients in those perfumes. So think about it, how perfect these artificial intelligence algorithms have to be so that it can do all the things that we have been talking about since last almost 15-20 minutes. We touched upon data analytics, and we touched upon how medical industry is using robots to help in surgical procedures and also to help Alzheimer's patients by giving them company so that they will not be lonely. But it is also used in software that performs clinical diagnosis and suggests treatment based on the data analytics. This is what prediction is all about, and this is where estimation is all about. The data sets are evaluated for similar relationships, and is called entity relationships, and based on these relationships, then decisions are made. Kavita Bala, chair of the computer science department at Cornell University, they did an industry research. And what they did was they used artificial intelligence in publicly shared data. They took 4.5 million photos, pictures of people on social media to evaluate the trends, such as how many people wear black color outfits in Los Angeles now compared to 2 years ago. And think about it, how powerful the results can be, because that will tell the fashion industry the trends. The clothing industry will say, okay, what kind of material should be, whether the silk should be dyed black, or whether the silk should be dyed red, or the woolen jacket should be black, or the woolen jacket should be red, based on these trends. And not only that, the inventory that smaller clothing companies will have, your Macy's, your Nordstrom, your Neiman Marcus, and others, they will also rely very much on the results of this study done with help from artificial intelligence. And buying pattern data is used to review the trends of short skirts versus long skirts for designers. What are women wearing? Is it full sleeves? Is it sleeveless? Which weather? How tall are the women? What is their approximate weight? What is the color of their skin? All of this data is collected in a big database, evaluated through algorithms in artificial intelligence that comes up with models, and these models are interpreted to make decisions by various industries. So look at what Alexander Graham Bell had said. He had said, before anything else, preparation is the key to success. So why are we talking about preparation, and how do we connect it? This is the preparation for quality management auditors to say how well prepared are they to audit the latest technology. If you are an individual and if you have a car, and regardless of what the car is, it could be Camry, it could be Mercedes, it could be BMW, it could be any Tesla, it could be any other car. You are not going to go to your handyman that you depend on all the time to come and fix everything in your house, starting from kitchen cabinets to kitchen appliances to your bathroom to plumbing. You're not going to ask that handyman to come and look at your car and fix your car. Why? Because you know that even though you trust your handyman, and even though the handyman can pick up a manual and read, if your handyman can, and even if your handyman is a little bit engineering savvy, he will not be able to do perfect job to repair your car and tell you what's wrong with your car. So why would we rely, if we are companies, any company, small or large, and we are using these technologies, why would we rely on a quality management systems auditor who always looks at processes to see if you have followed those processes, and then also, yes, looks at the results, but why would we rely on those auditors to audit us when it's not going to be a value add? We want the auditors to have some sort of intelligence that they would know what to audit so that they can pinpoint some of the areas of nonconformities or some of the areas of improvement that will assist the companies. And that is the reason why, if we are talking about ISO 9001 brand, that is the reason why people are talking about we need to make sure that the brand of ISO 9001 does not suffer. If you are going to get an auditor who has always come to your company for past 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and now you have introduced a technology and you're going to get the same auditor to audit that technology, there are a couple things you need to find out: whether the auditor is savvy in that technology. And as I mentioned, you're not going to go to a person who has been helping you to paint your house or to fix a couple things or to build a little wall outside, a fence outside. You're not going to go to that person and say, hey, by the way, I am thinking of now constructing a small room, an addition, and you are a handyman. Would you be please able to do it for me? Because you know that he's not a civil structural engineer. He may be able to do something for you, but it's not going to be a quality job. If there is an earthquake, look at what happened in India not too long ago, in the city of Ahmedabad, where all these houses were built and quality was sacrificed. One earthquake and thousands of people died. And yeah, there were a number of other reasons involved in there. It was the quality of the concrete, it was the quality of the construction, it was the contractors putting in people who were not qualified to work on it. So the same way, here you are depending on quality management systems auditors to run your entire business on which your livelihood depends. So let's look at auditing AI at a glance. What are some of the places where you must emphasize? Remember, folks, I'm not saying that the person who is coming to audit you for artificial intelligence must know how to write AI algorithms or must know how to code. I'm just saying that what they need to do is they need to know what is it that they need to question the company that they're auditing. The first one, especially for AI, is data. How is the data collected? What is the source of data? What is the accuracy of that data? Many large companies, many small companies that I have visited, I see that from one department to another, they would be showing me the graphs of the same data, and those graphs would differ dramatically, anywhere from 15 to 18%. That's because each one of them is getting the same data from different sources. So how is the data collected? What is the accuracy of that data? Project plan. In the project plan, look for what the milestones are. Look for when the prototypes are done. Prototypes, by the way, are samples. Based on prototypes, then you can say whether this artificial intelligence is working and whether it's going to be giving you the right trending, right reports, whether you'll be able to make decisions based on it. In the absence of prototypes, how are these companies validating that when they get the results, they would be the right results? Go to any company that is working on artificial intelligence and ask them how long has it taken them on artificial intelligence, and ask them for a project plan and see how many people are able to actually produce a project plan on many of the technologies. And this is something that we can just, as auditors, we can really help the customers out, our clients out, by reminding them that they need to have project plans so that they would know where their money is going and coming from, and they'll be able to look at the return on investment. Let me go on the technical side. Are these prototypes reviewed by anything? Was the algorithm code reviewed by subject matter experts? And if it was, is there any way you can look at the minutes of that review? Simple thing. Michael Fagan, who is so well known in the reviews, and Tom Gilb has written number of articles. And they both have said that if the review is conducted right, you are going to wean out 50 to 60% of the errors up front. So if 50 to 60% of the errors from AI algorithms are weaned out up front, look at how much beneficial those activities will be for a company. What type of standards are these companies using? And I'm not just talking about ISO 9001 standard. I am actually talking about their own system development life cycles. And how many times have you seen that companies do have system development life cycles, and yet when you ask any engineer, they have to dust the manual, if it is in manual form, they have to dust it to show it. That tells you that it wasn't used for years, and nobody's held accountable for following the company processes. And the accuracy is very, very important, the accuracy of the code, the accuracy of whether the established processes were followed. And yes, companies can deviate, but was appropriate risk analysis done? Metrics. What are the metrics companies are following for AI or for any other technologies? While AI is under development, which would be your lagging indicator, that would be your leading indicator, and once it's finished, which would be your lagging indicator. Leading indicator of metrics will tell you if you're finding too many errors in the algorithms up front. It will tell you that something is very, very wrong, and you will not have accuracy in that artificial intelligence once the models are completed. And how are the metrics captured? Validation. Validate actual deliverable. Validate how are these algorithms written, how are they tested, how are the prototypes built, and what is the accuracy of those prototypes. If 5 prototypes were made and all of them failed, then what was being done? And we talked about return on investment. How is it calculated? And I know that many of you would say, hey, we are not into company sustainability. We are there to just look at whether their quality management system works, because quality management system says if the companies are able to follow and produce consistent products, then everything would be fine. But remember, artificial intelligence is a new technology. Customers who are using it will not be able to complete and do consistent products if this technology is not audited properly. So let me end my lecture with one thought. You would go to a cardiologist for heart problems, and you will not go to a pediatrician. Similarly, for a constructive AI audit or for a constructive technology audit, a subject matter expert is a must. Remember what I said earlier, a subject matter expert in auditing, not just the quality management system, but what are some of the tricky things, underlying principles behind this technology that you should be looking at and you should be auditing. And with that, I'm going to say I hope that this was beneficial to you, and I hope that you are going to be better in AI auditing or any other technology auditing because you would do extensive research as to what you should be auditing. Thank you.
And thank you, Alka Jarvis, for that look at artificial intelligence and auditing. And that concludes this presentation.